Now we have a list of differentials that we can keep in mind when we're suspecting that a patient is suffering from ALS. We have to exclude these differentials at any cost because they can sometimes mimic the condition of ALS as well. So toxins, either bacterial, either viral, they can lead to the development of the motor neuronal damage, and you have to basically exclude that the patient is suffering from some sort of viral infections, which can lead to the damage to the anterior horns. For instance, tabes dorsalis is one of the infections that can occur in patients who are suffering from syphilis. And the syphilitic infections can sometimes basically lead to the damage of the motor neurons in the anterior horn cells. And sometimes it is a mimicking condition. Again, the patient is suffering from fatigue, weakness, and these are the major signs and symptoms. So you'd be excluding that in while you're carrying out the investigations in detail. Then we have the metabolic disorders. For instance, the endocrinal disorders are the major disorders. For instance, the levels of the triglycerides, cholesterol levels, and obviously you're going to see whether the patient is suffering from diabetes mellitus or not. So these are some of the metabolic disorders that you're going to exclude. Enzyme deficiencies, B12 deficiency is a major factor of weakness and muscle fatigue. So you'd be ruling that out as well. A lot of paraneoplastic syndromes can even result in the extreme fatigue and the weakness, as well as cases of cervical spondylosis can damage the anterior horn cells as well and can basically lead to a motor neuronal signs and symptoms. So you would be looking at this list of differentials at your hand and you'd be ruling out either the patient is suffering from any one of these, or either you are looking at a patient of amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and only then you can move forward with a treatment plan and with a management plan in a proper way.